Now, let us begin our class with Brahmanad. Om. Om. Shanti. 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 Swastha. In our previous video, we discussed how the narrator Yevgeny Evtusenko wanted to conquer his fear of rain. So what did he do? To overcome his fear of rain, he composed a poem about it and published it in a newspaper. So it was called his first piece of journalism. As the poem was published in a newspaper, it reached to the hands of the people of the street, and all the people of the street read the poem written by Yevgeny Evtusenko about the ruffian raid. After reading the poem about raid, they developed a sort of hatredness towards raid. Hence, the narrator Yevgeny Evtusenko was able to create in the minds and hearts of the people hatredness towards raid. Raid also came to know that the writer Yevgeny Evtusenko had written a poem about him and published it in the newspaper. In the poem, he had criticized raid. So he was burning with anger. One day, when the narrator Yevgeny Evtusenko was on his way to school, he was stopped immediately by raid and his lieutenants. They ridiculed him and attacked him severely. Yevgeny Evtusenko was attacked on his head with a knuckle duster. As a result, he fell down and lost his consciousness, and when he opened his eyes, he found that he was in hospital, and his head was bandaged. After a few days, his head was still bandaged. He came out of the house and found rain in the street. When he found rain in the street, again fear came to him. He could not decide whether to face rain or run away from him. As fear came to him, he could not face rain, but went back home. After going home, he threw himself on his bed and started pounding his pillow. In fact, he wanted to show his anger for its cowardice. So this was what we discussed in our previous video. But he was made up his mind that he would overcome his fear of rain. First of all, in the third unit, what did we read? We read to overcome his fear of rain. He composed a poem about rain. But in the last unit, we will read something different. Now, let us go through the last unit, that is Unit 4 of the lesson, Standing Up for Yourself. In third unit, he composed a poem to overcome his fear of rain. But here, he did not compose a poem, but he wanted to make his body very strong. In order to make his body very strong, what did he do? He went into training with parallel bars and weights. Here weights means weight lifting. Parallel bars means a pair of bars on pillars for gymnastic exercises. Parallel bars and weights are the gymnastic exercises. So he went into training with parallel bars and weights. So why did he go into training with parallel bars and weights? He went into training with parallel bars and weights in order to make his body very strong. After every session, and you know, session means single meeting. After every session, something I would feel my muscles, they were getting bigger but slowly. After every single meeting, the narrator actually had to send the whole feel that his muscles were getting bigger and bigger, but his muscles were getting bigger and bigger slowly. After attending the parallel bars and weights or attending the gym or gymnastics, he found that his muscles were getting bigger and bigger, but they were getting bigger and bigger slowly. Then he also remembered something I had read in a book. Then Yevgeny Yevtushenko remembered something that he had read in a book about a miraculous Japanese method of wrestling. And you know, miraculous means most remarkable. So what did he remember? A miraculous Japanese method of wrestling. So what have you understood? Thereafter, after making his muscles growing bigger and bigger, he remembered something that he had read in a book. And what had he read in a book? That was about a miraculous Japanese method of wrestling, or that martial art, which gave an advantage to the weak over the strong. Weak is adjective, strong is adjective, and you know, when article "the" is used before adjective, it refers to plural people, the weak people, the strong people. So, this miraculous Japanese method of wrestling gave an advantage to the weak to overcome the strong. Or this martial or this miraculous Japanese method of wrestling gave an advantage to the weak to win over the strong. So he wanted to get that book which described about the miraculous Japanese method of wrestling. And how did he arrange the book that described a miraculous Japanese method of wrestling? He arranged the book that described a miraculous Japanese method of wrestling by exchanging a week's ration card. I exchanged a week's ration card for a textbook on Jiu-Jitsu, and Jiu-Jitsu is the book that describes a miraculous Japanese method of wrestling. And in order to get the book Jiu-Jitsu, what did he do? He exchanged a week's wrestling card. For 3 weeks, I stayed at home practicing with 2 other boys. After arranging the book on Jiu-Jitsu that described a miraculous Japanese method of wrestling, he stayed inside home for 3 weeks. and he practiced all the martial arts with two other boys. Then, after knowing the techniques of that martial art, how to win over the strong and making his muscles very strong, he went out. Then I went out of home. And when he went out of home, he found that Red was sitting on the lawn. Lawn, you know, a piece of grassland in our yard. In our yard. Yard means an enclosed space near a building or near a building. So where was he found? Red was found sitting on the lawn in the yard of the street, and he was playing ping and spoon with his left hand. So where was Red found? When the writer, Yevgeny Yevtushenko, went out of his home, when the narrator went out of his home, he found Red sitting on the lawn in the yard of the street, and he was playing Bing and Oon. Bing and Oon is a card game, and he was playing a card game with whom? With his followers or with his lieutenants. He was absorbed in the game. And what was found by the narrator when he went to face Red? When he went out of his home to face Red, he saw Red sitting on the lawn in the yard of the street and playing a card game with his lieutenants. He was absorbed. Absorbed is entirely lost or entirely occupied. He was absorbed in the game. Who was absorbed in the game? It was Red, the goon, who was completely absorbed or occupied or lost. He was completely lost in the game. Fear was still deep in me when the narrator saw Red sitting on the lawn in the yard and playing ping and oon with his followers. Fear came to him. Fear came to the narrator. Fear was still deep in me, urging me. Here urging means trying to persuade me. Oh, don't go to that goon. Please go back home. Persuade. Urging means trying to persuade the narrator to go back home. But he was determined to overcome his fear of rain. So he did not go back. That day he was determined to face rain. So what did he do? He went up to the players. Here players were of two, Red and his followers. Instead of going home or instead of going back, what did the narrator do? The narrator Yevgeny Yevtushenko went up to the players. After going to the players, he kicked the cards that the players were playing and spread them all around. And remember, the past tense of spread is also spread, and the past participle form of spread is also spread. So what have you understood? Instead of going back, the narrator went up to the players, that means Red and his lieutenants, and kicked and scattered the cards. Red was astonished. He had not expected that a boy in the street would come and kick the cards and spread the cards all around. It was beyond his expectation. Nobody would go and do something against the ruler. He was the ruler of the street. And all the boys were afraid of him. But that day, he was disturbed. That day, a boy of the street came to him and his followers, kicked the cards and spread the cards all around. So what did he do? With astonishment, he looked up. Red looked up and saw the narrator standing by his side. Red looked up. He was surprised at my impudence. Here, impudence is rudeness. Impudence is rudeness. It was the rudeness of the narrator. How it was the rudeness of the narrator? As he kicked the cards and spread the cards all around. So it was called the rudeness of the narrator. Red looked up, surprised at the impudence of Yevgeny Yevtushenko after his recent flight. Flying, you know, act of flying is called flying, but here flight means improvement. Here flight means not improvement or improvement or improvement. Earlier he was beaten severely. Yevgeny Yevtushenko was beaten severely and he was hospitalized for a few days. He had no daring to face Red, but when he came and faced Red, that surprised the goon and his followers. Red looked up, surprised at my impudence after my recent flight. He got up slowly. He was the ruler of the state. So what did he do? He got up slowly. After getting up slowly, he asked the narrator, Yevgeny Yevtushenko, you looking for more? Are you looking for more? Are you looking for more punishment? Are you looking for more blows on your head with my knuckle duster? These were the questions asked by Ray to the narrator. Threateningly. See, here, you looking for more? He asked menacingly. Menacingly means in a threatening manner. In a threatening manner, Ray asked, Yevgeny Yevtushenko, are you looking for more? Do you want some more blows on your head with my knuckle duster? As before, Red put his hand into his pocket. As before, his hand dived into his pocket for the knuckle duster, and it was known to the narrator that Red always carried the knuckle duster in his pocket. When the narrator found Red putting his hand or diving his hand into his pocket for knuckle duster, he made a quick jobbing movement. Jobbing means, you know, jobbing means pushing with a shoulder and in a rough way. When the narrator found Red diving his hand into his pocket for the knuckle duster, Yevgeny Yevtushenko made a quick jobbing movement. Your jobbing movement means what? He made a quick pushing movement. He pushed him quickly. Jobbing movement, and Ray rolled on the ground. Then he pushed or jobbed. He was found, Red was found rolling on the ground, and he was crying. I made a quick jobbing movement and Red howling. Howling is crying. Usually we say a fox howls. Howling is crying. Cry of a fox is also called howl. Red howling with pain rolled on the ground. When Yevgeny Yevtushenko made a quick jobbing movement he was able to make red roll on the ground. As he was made roll on the ground, he was howling. He was howling with pain. Bewildered is confused or puzzled or backward. He was backward. Who was backward? It was Ray who was bewildered. He was confused. He got up after falling down on the ground. He got up and came at me. Here me refers to the narrator swinging, moving his head to and fro, swinging his head angrily or furiously from side to side like a maddened bull, or like an angry bull. Red got up and came towards Yevgeny Yevtushenko, swinging his head furiously from side to side. And his swinging of head from side to side has been compared with a maddened bull. And when Red reached near Yevgeny Yevtushenko caught in the past tense of catch. He caught his wrist, and this is called wrist. He caught his wrist and squeezed. Squeeze means pressed hard. When he found, or when Yevgeny Yevtushenko found Red coming to him, he quickly got hold of his wrist and squeezed it slowly as he had read in the book Jiu-Jitsu, until the knuckle duster fell or dropped from his limp fingers, or not limp means not strong, or not palm fingers. He went on squeezing his wrist until the knuckle duster dropped from his limp fingers. Nursing his hand. Nursing means here taking care of his injured hand. Nursing his hand. Red again fell down. He was sobbing now this time. He was in pain. As he was in pain, he was crying, sobbing, S-O-B-B-I-N-G. Sobbing means crying, he was crying. And smearing. Smearing means what? Smearing means spreading a sticky substance. The tears, you know, a little bit sticky substance over his pock-marked face. What was he doing? He was spreading the tear of that sticky substance over his pock-marked. He had a round pock-marked face, and he was now smearing the tear, that sticky substance, over his pock-marked face with his grubby means dirty. G-R-U-B-B-Y. Grubby means dirty. Fist means, you know, closed hand. With his grubby fist, he was spreading his tears over his pock-marked face. That day, Red ceased. Cease means to stop. That day, Red ceased to be the monarch, to be the ruler of our state. That incident made Red not to stop anyone and ask him impressively to give him money. That day made Red stop to rule the other boys of the state. That day Red stopped to be the ruler of the state. And from that day onwards, Yevgeny Yevtushenko knew for certainty, for surety, that one did not fear the storm. We should not be a height of the strong, one need not fear the strong. So what does one need? One needs to know the way to beat. Here to beat means to defeat the strong. All one needs is to know the way how to defeat the strong. Because for every strong man there is a special technique. There is a special jiu-jitsu. At the same time, the narrator also learned that simply writing points will not do. He should know how to stand up for his points. Here stand up means defend. He should know how to defend the points. What I also learned on this occasion was that to be a poet, I have not only to write poems, but also know how to stand up or how to defend for the poems. So this is what we have discussed from the last unit of the lesson, standing up for yourself. So we should know the technique, the jiu-jitsu to win over the strong. Simply writing something or writing points will not do. We should also know how to stand up for the points or for the lessons or whatever we do in our life. We should know how to defend for them.